Most houses change a little with time, new paint, a new door, maybe an extra room. But my house changed in a way no one could explain because it grew a window that wasn't there before. My name is Claire, and this is the story I've tried to forget for years. But sometimes, no matter how hard you try to bury something, it keeps looking back at you. I moved into my aunt's old house after she passed away. It was a small, quiet place on the far edge of town, old enough that the floors complained with every step, and the lights hummed even when they worked properly. The first night, I walked through the hallway with a flashlight, just getting familiar with the layout. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a small living room, all normal. But on the second night, something changed. I stepped into the hallway and noticed it immediately. A window. A tall, narrow window on the left wall. It hadn't been there before. I wasn't imagining it. I had walked down that hallway multiple times the day before. That wall was solid. No seams, no frame, nothing. Now there was a window with old wooden trim, dusty glass, and a curtain so thin I could see it swaying slightly, even though the hallway had no airflow. I stared at it for a long time, my mind racing, trying to find a logical explanation, but there wasn't one. Finally, I stepped closer and lifted the curtain. Behind the window was darkness, not the darkness of night, not a backyard or another room, just black, like the inside of a deep hollow pit. My hand hesitated for a moment before I tapped the glass. The sound it made was wrong. It echoed, not like glass attached to a wall, but like it was covering a deep, empty space. Something about that window felt heavy, silent, watching. I should have left the house right then and there, but I didn't, and that was my first mistake. That night I tried to sleep, but every sound made me open my eyes. The wind howling outside, the old wood of the house settling, my own breath catching in my throat. At around 3 a.m., I heard something new, a soft knocking. Not fast, not loud, just a slow, steady tap 2 seconds. Tap. I sat bolt upright in bed, my heart pounding against my ribs. The sound was coming from the hallway. No, it was coming from the window. I slipped out of bed, each step toward the hallway feeling heavier than the last. The knocking stopped the moment I got near. The curtain was very gently moving, as if a faint breath had disturbed it. I didn't touch it. I didn't want to. I didn't want to see what was on the other side. Then a whisper came from behind the glass. Not words, just breathing. Slow, human, right on the other side. I backed away slowly, then turned and sprinted to my room, slamming the door shut. The breathing continued all night, a soft, constant presence from the hallway. In the morning, daylight streamed in, and for a moment, the fear felt distant, like a bad dream. But the window was still there. I went through my aunt's old boxers, desperate for some explanation, renovation photos, house plans, anything at all that could make sense of this. Instead, I found something worse. A faded photo of the hallway, dated 1998. Right where the window was now, there was an old wooden door. A dark, imposing door with a small hand-painted sign nailed into it. The sign read, "Do not open." My blood ran cold. I flipped the photo over. My aunt had scribbled something on the back in rushed, messy handwriting. The ink was faded, but the words were clear. "It keeps asking to be let out." I felt sick. She must have sealed the door, had it remodeled and covered with a new wall to hide whatever was behind it. And now that door was back, but it had changed its shape. It had come back as a window, as if it was trying a new way to get out, as if it was evolving. I didn't want to go near the hallway that night, but I also couldn't ignore the sound. It started earlier this time, just after sunset. The tapping was faster now, more impatient. Tap and tap tap, a frantic rhythm that echoed my own frantic heartbeat. When I finally gathered the courage to approach, the window was fogged from the inside. A handprint slowly appeared on the glass. Long fingers, too long to be normal, pressing hard from the other side. I stumbled backward, a cry caught in my throat. Something moved in the darkness behind the window, a shadow shifting, not clearly enough to see, but enough to know it was alive and awake. The whispering started again, but it wasn't just breathing this time. It was words, faint, broken, desperate. "Let me out." I ran to my room, slammed the door, and pushed a heavy dresser in front of it. It was a useless gesture, I knew, but it was all I could do. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I just sat there, listening to the tapping and the pleading whispers that seemed to crawl under the door. The next morning, everything was quiet. Too quiet. The oppressive silence was more terrifying than the sounds of the night before. When I finally forced myself to go into the hallway, the window was gone. In its place was a door, not a modern door. It was the same old dark wooden door from the photograph. Even the warning sign was there, the paint chipped and faded. "Do not open." I stood there, frozen, staring at it. Then I noticed something horrifying. Fresh claw marks ran down the wood. Not deep, but long, desperate. Something had been trying to get out. Or maybe it had been trying to get in. By the next night, I had reached my limit. I couldn't stay in that house another second. I grabbed my bags, my keys, ready to leave this nightmare behind me and never look back. But before I could step outside, I heard one final sound. A voice, coming from behind the door. It whispered my name, Claire. It knew my name. I froze, my hand on the front doorknob. The doorknob on the old wooden door in the hallway turned slightly. not fully, just enough to show me that whatever was inside was strong and patient. The voice spoke again, clearer this time, filled with a strange, chilling sadness. Don't leave me alone. That was enough. I didn't wait to hear more. I ran out of the house, sprinted to my car, and didn't stop driving until I reached a motel miles and miles away. I never went back. The house is still there, abandoned now, rotting slowly at the edge of town. People who walk by say they sometimes hear knocking. Others swear they see a face, just for a second, standing behind a narrow window that isn't on any of the blueprints. I don't know what my aunt locked away in that house. I don't know why it wanted out. But I do know one thing. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Some windows should never exist. And some things follow you long after you stop looking at them. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.